postgame show as the Flyers fall 4-1. That's your final tonight. And Bry, they're in a position right now. That's why that, game the other night against Columbus, coming back from 2 goal deficits and ultimately losing in overtime, is a little bit more sting to it. But it's now 4-1 in their last 5 games.
Yeah, and that's the unfortunate part about it, I think, is where it sits in the grand scheme of things. Because again, we were looking at the last weekend or so like it was a place where the Flyers could get themselves some points, and they weren't able to get as many, I think, as they had hoped that they would. And then they run into a juggernaut in Boston where things are, just going. Everything's bouncing their way, right, for the Bruins tonight. It's a team that right now seems to really have it figured out, and the challenge for them is going to be if they can, continue to play this way for most of the season. A lot of times these things ebb and flow, and you can't really, necessarily maintain it throughout the course of a year, and you get cold at the wrong time. But this is a team that's got, again, a very dangerous power play, as it's, we saw tonight, and they have the ability to not just outscore you, but to shut you down defensively and limit your chances quite a great deal. So that's kudos to them, and the Flyers will have a chance to go up to Montreal and see if they can't end this skid there.
Yeah, Montreal playing much better hockey though too. It's unbelievable. Marty St. Louis got that team humming. To start this season, a lot of people thought they were going to be just a pushover this year, but right now Montreal, humming in relative terms, 16 games played, 8-7-1 on the season, 17 points. But the Flyers right now taking on water. It was an inopportune time perhaps to get the Bruins, and then it didn't help any. When you go into the third period of this game, you're down 1-0, and you go ahead into the power play, but you lose your best forward, and Travis Konechny, who unfortunately, Bry, did not return.
Nope. Yeah, we were just kind of waiting to see if he might come back out for that power play there in the third period, but he never did, and that's concerning. Obviously, I don't know have any idea what this situation is, but he by and large has been the Flyers' best offensive player this year. So it's going to be a tough one if they lose him. It would be obviously just another next man up situation. But we were talking about this the other day.
Who is the next man up?
I don't know. We were talking about this the other day. To what point do the Flyers want to leave their young players in Lehigh Valley doing well there, getting settled, and bring up veterans? Or is it time, when you lose a guy like Travis Konechny, is it time to take a look at a Tyson Forrest or anybody else that they might be able to pull up on the offensive side down there? I don't know. It'll be very interesting to see what happens with this. The other non insignificant part of it is that the Flyers have to get to Montreal tomorrow, so they've got to make sure that customs isn't an issue for anybody they try to call up, things like that. Sometimes that can be a little dicey. But the good news is they are staying in Boston tonight. They don't go to Montreal till tomorrow afternoon, so they do have some time to get somebody to Boston and go into Canada with the team if that's necessary. But that's going to be an interesting decision, is if they have to bring somebody up, who is it going to be?
Yeah, you're looking at Tyson Forster, another right-handed shot winger in 11 games this year with Lehigh Valley. He's got 2 goals and 5 assists, 7 points. And it's a -2 on the season. But, when I talked to Chuck Fletcher on Flyers Daily, I guess now about a month ago, he was really resistant to bring Tyson Forster. But you're right. You're resistant until it's out of necessity. You're getting to a point here. JVR goes down with the hand, has got to get the surgery. Saw him the other day at the rink, and he's still bandaged up a little bit. And then now TK, which I'm presuming it's a finger, but I'm not going to completely diagnose him. I haven't had a chance to examine the patient yet, but you look at it and go like, oh my goodness, like the luck is so horrific. It's a kind of a nothing burger play, right? And now that could cost you Konechny for a period of time. The fact that he didn't come back in the third is not a good sign, and he's been, I feel for the player here too, because TK came in, Bry, in stellar shape, ready to work for a new coach, ready to got benched in that game, really handled it really the right way. He's off to a great start to the season. Statistically, his play's been impactful. And now all of a sudden something like this happens. It's like, geez, come on.
And if it does, they are in a situation to call somebody up, I would lean toward it, like you were saying, not being necessarily a guy like Forrest or whatever, but they have Jackson Cates down there. He's been back and forth. They also have Cooper Marody available down there, and I'm not entirely sure what his overall situation is. It appears that he's only played in maybe 3 games this year, but he is another guy that's got some NHL experience that could come up and plug a hole without having to pull any of the young players out of what they're getting used to down there at this point.
Yeah, you also have Tanner Lazinski, who was sent down.
Right. He's not even showing up yet because he hasn't appeared in the game. Almost forgot about him. He hasn't played in the game for the Phantoms yet because they haven't had one. So he could be right back up too.
But yeah, he could be a guy. I don't know if we see Hayden Hodgson if it necessitates it. In 9 games, he's got a goal and no assists, and he didn't seem like Torts didn't seem too particularly enamored with Hayden Hodgson in his short stint this season with the Flyers in 1 game, but really played him very sheltered his minutes in a big way. So, what are the options? You got to figure. I mean, you can always dip into that trade market too.
Yeah,
but there's ramifications long term with that and cap and everything else. You don't do anything just to put a Band-Aid on a wound right now. You got to do everything with the long term future in mind. So it just sucks to lose Konechny in a situation like this, and he's just been such a good player for the team this year. And Flyers ultimately go down against Boston, and they keep rolling. They get outshot in the game 32-24. Faceoffs were actually 50%. Boston, the number 1 team in the NHL coming into the game in the faceoff circle, and the Flyers draw them even there. Hits 26-22. Each team had 4 power plays, but the Flyers power play really ineffective. They got to figure something out here. But I think a part of this too, Bri, is the fact that the high level talent is not there in bulk when it comes to this Flyers team.
Yeah, absolutely, and you see it on a situation like that power play. I mean, 4 power plays, they get 1 goal on 1 shot. That was the only shot they got. Was the Tippett goal, and
what a shot it was.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the kind of flashes of what we hope we're going to see from him on a very consistent basis here before too long. But the Flyers power play early on was cashing in. I don't know if it's a situation where they've changed anything or if the opponents have changed how they play against it now, having seen it. But, I feel like earlier when it was cashing in, it was kind of a simple thing, just getting pucks in the net, getting traffic and trying to deal with what you got. And now it seems like they're just sometimes a little bit hesitant to get that puck to the net sometimes on a man advantage. So I don't know. We'll have to see how they evaluate it, but it's, certainly was part of the key to their start was the power play cashing in every now and then. And now it's certainly finding itself in a dry spell.
Yeah, I love the goal. Well, let's just talk about something positive for a second, because first Bergeron gets booted out of the circle. Again. And Marchand comes in. And then the ref fake drops the puck again and boots Hayes out of the circle. It's like, what are we doing here? Can we just put the puck in play, please? I know Coates at one point was like, well, you dropped the puck. Yep. You had enough of this. It's like, let's just get the puck in play. And then Frost comes in. And this looks like a set play that they run on this goal, because Frost wins the draw. He wins it back, and it goes right back to Tippett, who dumps it off to D'Angelo. But then Tippett goes down the right wall, and Hayes just hits him with the cross-ice pass. They're not set up in their structure of their box yet. And boom, Tippett just gets that puck and just absolutely rifles it past Allmark. And it's a great set play on the power play off the face.
Yeah, it's again, what Tortorella has talked about a lot this year is creating confusion. Movement away from the puck, and if you just stay there at that center point, there's a Bruin that's fronting that guy, and because they drift away from it, it looks like 2 Bruins kind of went to the same guy in the middle, and that kind of thing is how you create openings to get to the puck to the net. So very well done there. And that's the kind of thing that you've got to do in order to be successful against a penalty kill like that.
Yeah, spread them a little thin and get that cross-ice pass and have a guy that can shoot the hell out of the puck, and that's what Owen Tippett can do. It was a hell of a shot, and there was traffic around as well. Let's take a timeout. It is the post-game show, gathering our emotions after a 4-1 loss against the Boston Bruins, top team in the NHL. Flyers now 0-4-1 in their last 5. They'll look to end that skid coming up on Saturday in Montreal against Le Habitant. We're back after this on the BetRivers.com Flyers Broadcast Network. My voice is getting all crappy.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I don't have the black plague that you had, but I don't have the black plague you had, but I certainly have picked up a cold here. So
yeah, man, everybody's getting these sicknesses like crazy. It's just so annoying. I'm still coughing here and there. I'm gonna hit the mute button right now and let out a cough.
Yeah, I tell you what, streamers. If this is the last night of Twitter, it's been fun bringing you this on Twitter. But
yeah,
we'll find somewhere else to meet you if Twitter melts down before Saturday.
Yeah. Oh man, what a mess that is.
Yep.
I feel like it couldn't happen to a worse place.
I was gonna say if anybody else out there wants to lose $44 billion, you can just give it to me and save the trouble. That'd be great.
Yeah. Sheesh. What a knucklehead. Flyers actually kept Boston under their expected goal total in the game. They were 4.28 expected goals. And they gave up 4. Oy, oy, oy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think anything happened in this game that we didn't really expect to happen. But
yeah. And what is going on upstairs? The dog is going crazy. That means my knucklehead son's up there messing with her. Dude, go to bed. We got 5 games this weekend in 2 days, buddy. I got Boosh coming on Stick to Hockey Live tomorrow.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it should be good.
Ask him if he enjoyed that interview with Torts the other night.
Yeah, I got a call from him this morning. I was like, you handled that beautifully. What are you looking for your team going forward? Forecheck. Back upstairs.
Thank you.
Thank you, Torts.
That was my favorite part. Thank you.
Yep, thank you. All done. Well done here. Oh, man.
Yeah, I remember he was talking about that line change that the Flyers blew there, and I texted him in the middle. I said, my daughter's 14U team wouldn't have changed lines there.
Yeah, it's a bad spot.
Yep.
Oh, man. Oh, boy.
In a bit of a long break here, I think, if I recall correctly.
What's going on with the streamers? What's the streamers thinking? If you're on the YouTube side or Facebook, post some comments there. Maybe we'll get to them here on the post-game program. Oh, man.
The
Here we go.
North Stars are in their Blades of Steel jerseys tonight.
Flyers post-game show. They fall against the Boston Bruins. Final score of 4-1. And the Bruins go to 10-0 at home. They win their 15th game, 15-2 on the season. Linus Ullmark got the number 1 star of this game, 22 saves. I don't know if I would have given Linus Ullmark the number 1 star. Would you?
No, I'm not sure I would have given him any of them.
Yeah, I mean, not the penalty he took. Well, that was bizarre. Kind of a bizarre.
No, I mean, obviously the top line was not as explosive as it has been. I know Timmy asked us for this, and we didn't get it till after the game. But the Flyers had not held that line. Well, I don't know if it's necessarily a line, but those 3 guys had not held them all without a point in the same game since 2018.
2018.
So it had been 4 years, which includes the 1 year where the Flyers played them 8 times. That hasn't happened very often. I went all the way back to 2010, I think, and could not find a time when the Flyers shut out the Bruins. They had one in that playoff run, but not during the regular season. So they've been a thorn, obviously, over the years. But yeah, I mean, I would, getting back to what I was saying, that those 3 stars to me would have been in those bottom 6 forwards there. I mean, that group was the one that really got done tonight for them.
Yeah, that sometimes you go, okay, we're going to try and shut down your top line, and we'll go, okay, we'll try and let your bottom 6 beat us.
Yeah,
I think that's what teams do against the Flyers. They're going, let's shut down the Hayes, Konechny, and whoever's with them, Lawton or Tippett or whoever it is.
right.
And let Zach, no offense, but let Zach McEwen and Nick Delarier try beat us.
And I guess too, the one thing that I would like to see start happening is, this has happened now, I think, at least 2 games in a row for the Flyers with this penalty kill. The box seems to collapse with a puck on the wing, and everybody's trying to block a passing lane, and that's a small puck. I mean, I commend getting sticks in passing lanes, but they seem to be doing it at the expense of leaving way too much space for the people on the other side of that.
Yeah.
And that was the second time in recent memory I can remember where a east-west pass went from one side through the goal mouth to the other side. Everybody seems to be trying to get a stick on that puck, and it gets through, and there's somebody wide open on the back door to slam dunk it. I mean, I just, I get it, trying to eliminate the passing lanes, but I'd like to see him, work a little bit better on shifting man coverage in this penalty kill, at least for the time being.
Yeah, and the guy on the back door, it's just a nightmare.
Right.
It's the nightmare scenario for the goalie, because if you cheat to it, you're dead.
Right.
If you don't, you're dead. I mean, it's just like he just rotates back DeBrusk perfectly. And Pasternak, I think he's one of the best slap passers in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a hard thing to do, disguise it as a slap shot and just a good hummer right along the ice for a guy to bang it home. And that's what DeBrusk does. He's in a perfect position, opened up, ready to take that on, and Pasternak nails him with it, and it's beautiful play.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to defend, but it seems to me like a necessary adjustment at this point to just try to, don't sacrifice structure don't sacrifice structure in the name of blocking a pass or even blocking a shot. Just a little more coverage to the man.
That Pasternak pass to him to DeBrusk, that had to be 85 miles an hour. I don't know if you got the track.
Oh, yeah.
That's an 85-mile-an-hour pass on the ice, one-timed. Unbelievable.
I think they only track shots for some reason, although I can't tell.
I mean, that's a shot.
I don't know how the system.
It's a shot.
I don't know how the system can tell that wasn't a shot. I mean, there's no way for it to tell the puck was going to the net. It had to have been moving at least that fast.
Yeah, it's a bomb.
But some of the other numbers we look at, just as I brought this up to look at it, I mean, I don't hate the puck possession distribution in this game. 51.5 for Boston, 48.5 for the Flyers. Boston had possession for less than 2 minutes more than the Flyers did in this game. So I would not have turned that down if I known that before the game. But again, it ended up being a little bit of special teams a difference in this one.
Yeah, the expected goals in the game were 4.28 expected goals for the Bruins to 2.49 for the Flyers. Flyers did get around Swayman a good bit down low around the blue paint. The goal comes from basically the top of the circle on the right side on that shot by Owen Tippett with traffic on the power play. Not enough tonight against a very good team. You couple that with connecting out for the final period when you're heading into it only down a goal, and you're really fighting a battle with really both arms tied behind your back at this point. Really tough situation.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a loss that I don't think you can you can worry too much about. It's difficult circumstances, a team that's just absolutely clicking on all cylinders, and then to complicate it even further, you lose your best player there, right before what would have been a power play opportunity that he would have played a key role on. So it's it's just a matter of using what you can out of reviewing this game and sharpening it up a little bit for Montreal and then Calgary.
Yeah, Montreal. So the schedule is this. The Flyers are back in action Saturday night in Montreal, take on Le Habitant. Marty St. Louis behind the bench, and that'll be Saturday night at 7. Are we on? Where were we at on that night? MMR, I believe.
My brain's crossing. So. Saturday is WMMR.
Okay. And then Monday, back home, Hockey Fights Cancer Night, one of my favorite nights of the year. Very personal to me. And they'll take on the Calgary Flames Monday night. A little bit of, you brought it up in the pregame show, a little bit of a weird schedule week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's not traditional NHL nights.
It is not. It happens every year at Thanksgiving, and it always screws me up in the head. But, it does kind of maybe throw the guys off their rhythm just a little bit to sneak all that in there and, have those days that are normally off in your in your mind and in your body clock. Normally days off are going to be work days, but they go through that. They have a back-to-back at the end of it to kind of get back on track. And then, December, as is normal for the Flyers, is a pretty road-heavy month. So, be nice to try to get some points in the bank here on some of these home games before that all starts.
I mean, starting Saturday with that Montreal game, it's 5 games in basically 7-8 days, Saturday to Saturday. Montreal Saturday, Monday Calgary at home, then back take the train ride down to DC to take on the Caps on Wednesday at 7:30. Black Friday game at Wells Fargo Center at 5:30. Then Saturday they'll be on the road to take on the New York Islanders. So it's every other game, road home, but a very busy week. And I'm sure this is a time of year when John Tortorella wouldn't mind a little extra practice time, especially if they have to make a call up and get some people assimilated to systems and some chemistry heading into these games. But the schedule is what the schedule is. There's nothing you can do about it. You got 5 games in 8 days, and it's going to be a grueling week with a holiday to boot. Got to find a way to play hockey and control what you can control, which is effort, preparation, sleep, getting your body and your mind right and going out and, giving an honest effort and see what you can do.
Right. And it's, again, limiting mistakes. The thing that's been more of a problem recently for the Flyers has been, mistakes in 1 or 2 areas of the game. And, tonight they cleaned some of that up. They had a little bit of a weird situation on that first Boston goal that kind of started things off for them. But, we didn't see as many, errors tonight, just in terms of bad penalties taken, I don't think, or giveaways, whatever. They were more careful with
nothing
the puck.
Egregious, right?
No, I mean, they played this team very, very well for 30 minutes. So you have to give them credit for that. And again, just build off
right?
of it. Yeah, exactly. You got to make that 30 minutes a little bit longer next time. But after 30 minutes, it was scoreless. 2 periods, it was only 1-0. So it's that third period, again, you're down a forward. Your lines are now a little bit clunky, and Boston gets 2 power play goals in there, and that's what turned things around. But I think you focus more on the first 40 minutes of this game from the Flyers' perspective than you do the last 20.
Yeah, and for those that are listening on the radio, Brian is now doing his best Kevin Weeks impression.
Yeah.
You're at the bottom of the screen.
Am I? Oh, that's my fault. I'm not. I'm too busy looking at stats and not paying attention to what I'm doing. No, I'm still on my couch for now. We do have a functioning kitchen around the corner there, and hopefully I'm going to have a actual office set up here before too long. But it's been a fun start 6 weeks of the season here.
You're remoting the remote work is what you're doing. Remote portions of the household. All right, let's wrap things up. Let's thank a few people before we get out of here. Let's start with our in-studio producer. I think this is his last game tonight.
Is it?
And let me just say on the record, on the air, Tyler Zulli is producing tonight his final game broadcast. He's going to be with the station doing some shows still, but Ty has always been a total pro, great at his job, takes things serious, and we wish him the best of luck, and we'll be staying in touch. He and I share an affinity for a certain kind of very heavy music as well.
Absolutely.
So thank you, Tyler. Great job. Not just tonight, but all the times you've done games. Tom Albert was on highlights tonight for Tim Saunders, Steve Coates, Brian Smith. I'm Jason Myrtetus. You've been listening to Philadelphia Flyers Hockey, a 4-1 defeat against the Boston Bruins on the BetRivers.com Flyers Broadcast Network. Good night, everybody.